All right, g'day everyone. I wanted to explain to you about what my Year 9 art program is. And because I'm so awesome with technology, I've got a few things set up, so I hope it's going to work. Okay, so just having a look at some of the basic things that we're going to do. We look at our elements and principles. We're going to create a skateboard, a graffiti board. We do a research task. We do a piece of artwork based on an artist called Roa. And we do a paste up if we have time. And a lot of this work is documented with a folio, and I'll show you some examples of some folios and I'll talk about that a little bit more. Now here we have some examples of the elements and principles. Your elements are your line, shape, tone, etc. Your principles are your movement, emphasis and contrast, and we need to incorporate them into our work. We need to understand what they are, we need to write about them, and look at the importance of those. We do a research task where we look at a particular artist and look at some of their history, look at some of their influences, look at what was happening around at that time they were making their artwork and what they're trying to say about their artwork. We will also include an artist's influence in some of our pieces. Okay, so these are some examples of some skateboards. So what happens is I give you a deck and you get to put some designs on a skateboard. Now your skateboard is to have an artist influence, like I was saying before. So we need to incorporate some research. We document the stages of that. So working in our folio, coming up with inspiration, having your artist influences, putting your work together, trialing some of those ideas and using spray paints and Posca pens and whatever we can get our hands on. I'll just show you some examples of that. So this is me giving a demonstration of some spraying. We're outside on the grass and I've got some sugar spray. I would normally be wearing my mask, but you wouldn't be able to have heard me when I was doing this. So I'm just spraying a flat tone of colour. If you're wanting to make a gradual change in your colours, just starting off softly and then you can bring that colour down. Now you can use some stencils for your work as well. So what I've just done is I've grabbed a doily and I'm just spray painting over the doily to create a lovely effect. So now what I'm doing is I'm using masking tape, and what I'm going to do is I put a few pieces of masking tape down and you can spray over the top of that as well, and then you take the tape off and you also have your pattern. There's lots of techniques that are on the internet and we look at some of those on our program that we have at school. And you can look things up as well. This is just some examples that I'm showing you to show you what we'll be doing in Year 9 art. So what this is I'm making the paint drip. So I've sprayed a colour along here, and then what happens is the paint drips down, and then if you want to add an extra colour in, you can spray another colour and that also is dripping. So you can actually have that both ends of your skateboard if you wish. So we've had the dripping coming down and then I've just used a stencil in order to spray some paint as well. Now these are the stages in our folio that I was mentioning about coming up with your ideas, documenting how you do things, putting the stages in that you create your work and reflecting on that as also. Now the next one we try to fit in is what I call a graffiti board. So your graffiti board has to have a cultural statement about it. So that's what's happening around you at the time. And while we were on remote learning, I actually created one for my students to watch, and I'll try and show you. So it's about 16 minutes long, which we're not going to do, but I'll try and fast forward it and explain what I'm doing. Okay, so I found just some cardboard from when I was doing a walk and I had a permanent marker, and my piece is about the COVID that was happening. So in this, I'm actually drawing my husband here. And then this is me. Keep going. And then what people were doing is they were, doing the feet tapping thing to say hello to people. But in this, I'm saying I love you to my husband by doing the feet tapping. So that was my graffiti board. Now this is an awesome piece that I call my roller piece. So this is the example here that I'm showing you. It's just made out of cardboard, and there's lots of steps and stages into that. So I'll try and explain through this video just quickly. So we really look at drawing with your lines on this, and that was an example of how to do different line work, and I've got a video to show you on that. This is an example of a folio, so this is collecting your ideas. Another student's example, folios for you to have a look at. This is what I was saying about the line drawing and how to improve the quality of your line when you're doing this. And we look at artist's work as well. So these are some of the resources that I've made for you. And if we have time, we do a pace up, which is a lot of fun at the end of the term. So just recapping, my Year 9 art program is looking at street art. We look at your elements and principles. We create a skateboard. We do a graffiti board. We have a research task. We have a roller-based piece and a pace up. So I do tend to give you a bit of a push in my class, and there's quite a bit of theory which I help you with, and I have a modified program to help people who struggle with that aspect of their work. So yeah, that's what I do.